Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Today we are talking about some books that have been in my closet for some time and I still have not read them, and I do want to commit to reading them this year. So a few of those books, those are at least 11 books. So let's see if I can finally find the time for these books, because as I'm saying, some have been in my closet bookcase for at least a year, so some have been added recently but are on the TBR for a while, since I know that they were going to come out. So let's have a look. I'm going to start with a big boy, and that is Priory of the Orange Tree. As you can see, it's a big boy. I have been wanting to read this one for a while now, but as big as it is, it's also a challenge. And I just hope I can find the time to read this, because I have so many books on my TBR that I just don't know if I will ever read this, even though it sounds so good. Also, I have heard so many great things about this, and if this is good, I definitely want to read the other one. And I mean, the cover is amazing. I also love things with dragons, so that's why this actually is pretty high on my list. So yeah, let me talk to you a little bit. A world divided, a queendom without an heir, an ancient enemy awakens. The house of Berenet, I don't know, has ruled Inns for 1,000 years. Still unwed, Queen Sabran the Ninth must conceive a daughter to protect her realm from destruction. But assassins are getting closer to her door. Eadurian is an outsider at court. Though she has risen to the position of lady-in-waiting, she is loyal to a hidden society of mages. Ead keeps a watchful eye on Sabran, secretly protecting her with forbidden magic. Across the dark sea, Tanya has trained all her life to be a dragon rider, but is forced to make a choice that could see her life unravel. Meanwhile, the divided East and West refuse to parley, and forces of chaos are rising from their sleep. So yeah, I'm excited about this, and this, as I said, has been on my TBR for at least a year, I think. So I should just make the time for this. I know I do, because I think this is going to be amazing. We'll see. Up next are actually book 2 and 3 of a series. One has come out recently, and I know that everybody's bell is probably going off right now. Yes, it is House of Sky and Bread is the second book, and then House of Flame and Shadow is the third book. Can we talk about the amazing covers, by the way? Sarah Yimas, you have done me proud. I love these covers. I started the second one a while ago. I didn't get that far, but I sincerely hope that I will start this one next, and then I want to go to this one. But the thing with having so many books to read is I just don't know which one I want to read next, and I just kind of fell into like this hole of not reading at all, because I have so many options that I don't know what to choose from. And then I'm like, but you have so many options, just choose one and start it. And then I start that book and I'm like, no, actually I want to read that book or that book or that book, and then I just don't read anything at all. That's also something that happens. Up next we have The Poppy War. I got this one for Christmas, not last year, but the year before, like in 2022. So I got the entire trilogy for a Christmas present. I have not read any single book of them, so that's why I decided to add The Poppy War to my list. It is supposed to be really good. I have heard so many people talk about this, and that's why I just really want to read this. It's also something a bit different than what I normally read. I do read a lot of fantasy, well, basically only fantasy, but I don't think this has a lot of romance in it, which I normally do tend to love more. So it is a little bit out of my comfort zone, which is okay. Sometimes we do have to step out of my comfort zone. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this is going to go. Then we have The Darkening by Sunyamara. I did get this a little bit ago, and it's not a thick book, so I do hope to read this quite soon, to be honest. This is about only she can face the storm. Vesper Vale is a daughter of failed revolutionaries. Since the queen sentenced her mother to death by a deadly storm that curses everyone it touches, Vesper and her father have been on the run. So when the queen's soldiers, led by paranoid Prince Dalka, catch up to them, Vesper will do whatever it takes to keep her father safe, even arm herself with her father's book of dangerous experimental magic, even infiltrate the prince's elite squad of soldier-sorcerers, even cheat her way into his cold heart. But when Vesper learns there's more to the story of her mother's death and that her home is in dire peril, she has little choice. Trust the devious prince with her family's secrets or follow her mother's footsteps into the storm. I have been wanting to read this for a while. I started this, I got only like 27 pages in because I had so much going on. I still have so much going on at this moment that it is a little bit difficult to focus for me on specific books. So I do hope that I can read this one up next, as it is a thin book and I do think that it is going to be a pretty quick read. So yeah. Then we have Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This has been hyped up on TikTok quite a lot, and that's why this one is on my TBR. I do love very simple fantasy. I don't think this was supposed to be very complicated, unlike the books from Sarah J. Maas are a little bit more dense in material, and the one from Samantha Shannon, The Priory of the Orange Tree, is also more dense in material, so that's why I do add a few not so dense books in this. So I'm curious to see if it's going to live up to the hype, yes or no. Only the extraordinary belong in the kingdom of Ilya. The elites have possessed powers for decades, gifted to them by the plague, while those born ordinary are just dead, banished from the kingdom of Ilya and shunned from society. No one knows this better than Peyton Gray, an ordinary posing as a psychic to blend in with the elites. When she unsuspectingly saves one of Ilya's princes, Kai Azer, she's thrown into the purging trials, a brutal competition showcasing the elite's powers. If the trials and the opponents within them don't kill her, the prince she's fighting feelings for will if he discovers what Peyton is completely ordinary. So I'm excited about this. I think these are pretty upfront in their story and are not that complicated to read, so I do hope that I will be able to read these ones up next. I also have another second part, and that is obviously Iron Flame. I have not read this, unlike most people who read this as soon as it came out. I work in a bookstore, so when this came out, I was like, I have to have it, I have to read this, I have to start. But I just could not seem to buy that at that point. So I decided to wait a little bit and just see whether or not I would pick it up. And obviously I did pick it up. So I'm not going to say what this is about because that would spoil probably what the first one is about for those who have not read the first one. So I'm just going to say that Iron Flame is very high up on the TBR at the moment. I really want to read this. So we'll see if I can get to it this year. Probably. Then up next is another one that I have on my TBR, but I don't know if I will be able to read this year. I do want to because it is such a beautiful book. But yeah. And that is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. Now I have never read any of Cassandra Clare's books. Unlike most people who picked this one up, I never read The Mortal Instruments or the other ones in her series. I don't know why, because I do love fantasy, and even though I love fantasy. I just never actually felt compelled to read one of her books. I don't know why, guys. I cannot explain. So I'm curious to see if this is going to be one for me. One was raised to rule, one was trained to die. Welcome to the Chronicles of Castellane. I think it's how you say it. So this is supposed to be a modern character-driven narrative. It's supposed to be rich with romance and intrigue. So I'm excited to see if this is something that I would like. Then up next is a book. It's the second part of One Dark Window, which I absolutely loved. I loved One Dark Window. It was right up my alley, and that's why this is probably one of the first ones I'm going to start. It's also not a thick book, so that's also a plus, because I do have quite a few thick books laying here. And a thick book is also a little bit more daunting to start than one of those. So yeah, Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillick is probably the next one I'm going to read as soon as I finish the Hurricane Wars. So yeah. Then up next is one that I actually have had on my TBR for quite a while, but I only picked it up recently for my birthday. So also a little spoiler for those who are going to watch my birthday book haul in a while, because 3 of the books on this list are in my birthday haul coming up, or that has been up already, and that is The God Killer by Hannah Gaynor. I think that's how you pronounce it. I mean, look at this cover, guys. It is absolutely stunning. So, as a child, Gisson saw her family murdered by a god. Now, gods are forbidden, but they still wander the kingdom demanding worship and sacrifice. Gisson makes a living killing them and enjoys it, until she meets a god she cannot kill. Skadi, the god of white lies, has bonded his soul to a young noble girl, and Gisson can't kill him without ending the girl's life. Gisson reluctantly agrees to travel to the ruined city of Blenraden to demand aid from the lost wild gods, but the city of the gods is no place for a god killer. So, I have heard so many great things. I do believe that Olivia Makes a Latte absolutely loves this book. Ooh, this is cute. Absolutely love this book, so I am probably... that's what I mean, guys. I have so many books that I'm now saying I want to read this one next, and I want to read that one next, and I have so many options that I just don't know where to start at this point. But it's also a pretty thin book, so also hoping to read one of this one or this one up next. And then up next we have a book that I have had for quite a while. I do have a second and third book already, even though I never read the first one. Now the reason I have the second and third one already is because I picked this one up first, wanting to read this. Then last year I got a little present from my friends for my birthday, and I could pick up any books I could carry. And they had the second and third one, and since it was a present, I just thought, well, let me just grab them and see. And I still have not read the first one, so The City of Brass is pretty high up on the list. The markets of 18th century Cairo, thieves, tricksters, con artists, and outcasts eke out a living, swindling rich nobles and foreign invaders alike. But alongside this new world, the old stories linger. Tales of gin and spirits, of cities hidden among the swirling sands of the desert, full of enchantment, desires and riches, where magic pours down every street, hanging in the air like dust. Many wish their lives could be filled with wonder, but not Nari. She knows the trade she uses to get by are just tricks and sleights of hand. There's nothing magical about her. She only wishes to one day leave Cairo. But as the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. I started this on my phone, and I actually liked the first few chapters that I read, which is why I added this one to my cart back then. I just never really got to it, and since I have this book for like almost two years now, I think it's just time to start this. I just have to go for this. Yeah. So these were probably all the books that I actually really want to read this year, except for all the books that are going to come out that I want to read. So these are just books that are on the TBR in general, and I will probably add more along the way, because I already know a few books that are coming out that I desperately want. So yeah, these are just books that I have been in my possession for quite a while and I still have not read, and I really want to read them. So let me know, guys, if any of these books is something that you have read and whether or not you like them. Please let me know which one I should start first, because my brain cannot say which one I want to start next. I am actually thinking of just going with Two Twisted Crowns and God Killer, because they are probably the two thinnest books on this list. So thinking about these two, followed by House of Sky and Bread, so I can read this third one, because I have heard about some plot twists that are pretty intriguing. So the only problem is that if I want to read this one, I probably have to read the first one again. So I don't have to read 2 thick books, I have to read 3 thick books. And I don't know if my brain can handle that. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I will do a read along with me from the first, second and third book combined. So that would be fun. Maybe I could do that. That I do the 3 books and my reactions to the 3 books. Yeah, that's maybe an option. We'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys!